This is News 13 at 6 with Lydia DeFranchi and Dean Johnson.
Good evening. Lydia will join us later in the broadcast. A Riverton teenager will serve 12 to 18 years behind bars for his role in a beating that killed a man and put a woman in the Riverton hospital last September. Santana Mendoza, who was 16 at the time, along with 15-year-old John Potter, attacked David Moss Jr. and Aaliyah Crispin on the Rails to Trails bike trails that resulted in the death of Moss Jr. and put Crispin in a coma. District Judge Norman Young also sentenced Mendoza to 8 to 10 years in prison for his aggravated assault charge. The sentence will run concurrently with his other sentence. Judge Norman Young also ordered Potter and Mendoza to pay $12,000 in restitution. Potter was sentenced in April to 12 to 18 years in prison. Well, it's been a month since the driver of an SUV collided with a cyclist on his way to work. Matthew Harker later died of his injuries at a Denver hospital. But after all this time, there still haven't been any charges. News 13's Lydia DeFranchi joins us live from the accident scene after speaking with police, the district attorney, and Harker's widow. Lydia?
Dean, a lot of people are asking why the driver's name still hasn't been released and why there are still no charges when the crash that happened here took the life of a man. Lieutenant Mike Thompson told me today Casper police have put together all their reports and handed them into the district attorney's office. Thompson said the crash wasn't very cut and dry. There were visibility issues, the lights were changing, but then there's the fact that alcohol was involved. Nobody is more affected by the long wait, though, than the woman who lost her husband and the father of her 3 sons.
The person who hit Matt is still able to move forward with their life right now. And I think there's a lot, I keep repeating, it's just unfair. It's really unfair he didn't come home that night.
District Attorney Michael Blonigan tells me it's not that unusual for it to take this long to file charges. He says he has to be able to bring forward a case beyond reasonable doubt. But talking to police, it seems pretty clear it's not a question of if charges will be filed, but when and to what degree. Live in downtown Casper, I'm Lydia DeFranchi. Back to you, Dean.
Thanks, Lydia. And watch News 13 at 10 to hear more from Stacy Harker and how she and her family are coping with this loss and long wait. Campbell County is upgrading how they keep track of just under 11,000 pieces of county property, and Casper leadership plans on doing the same thing. News 13's Cody O'Hara spoke with different city department heads to see how they track city property. And Cody, why the new system?
Well, Dean, the city of Casper's inventory consists of desks, computers, and a fleet of 700 vehicles and lawnmowers. And with new technology keeping track of it all, the process could be much easier. This week, some Casper department employees are sifting through their inventory lists and making sure all city property is present. But in 2 years, the whole process is expected to be simplified. In 2016, it could be as easy as scanning a barcode, which is already affixed to city property. Keeping track of city inventory not only helps administrators plan for growth, but in some cases shows department staff where tax dollars can be saved. It also can be a method of keeping people safe.
There's been other departments in the country where that's happened. You know, machine guns have gone missing, you know, special SWAT operator tactical equipment that's very sensitive and be dangerous in the wrong hands. You know, you don't want that stuff to just go missing.
We generally spend about a week doing our inventory, as well as everybody else in the city doing their annual inventory. It just takes some time to go out and verify each one of those numbers and match it up with the description in the computer.
Now, as Casper continues to grow, city property most likely will increase as well. Department workers say the more efficient the system becomes, the more time they can spend deciding what the city needs and what they can do without. Dean, back to you.
Thanks, Cody. Shel Barger says the scanning system will be installed in the future, one department at a time. Natrona County elementary and middle school students will be taking 2 buses to school starting this fall. A plan to bring all students first to a bus hub on Center and 7th Streets before taking them to school is set to begin this year. The district's transportation director says it is expected to cut travel times in half as well as save money. The bus routes will include fewer bus stops, which could mean a longer walk to the bus stop for some students.
One benefit that we are going to see is that we're going to decrease bus traffic around the schools by 80%. Example, we have 14 buses in the morning going to one school. We're going to decrease that down to 1 or 2 buses.
The school district is spending $200,000 to renovate what will be the bus hub on 7th and Center, which will also have bathrooms and a warm space for kids in the winter. Webb says with our system of parents being able to choose their kids' schools, transportation has been challenging. Well, a unanimous ruling by the Supreme Court changes the Fourth Amendment to require a search warrant when investigating a suspect's cell phone. Tony Cedrone spoke with a local attorney and police official today and on the matter. Tony?
Well, Dean, local attorneys are glad to see the ever-changing technology is finally keeping up with the law, and Casper officials have already been obtaining warrants before searching cell phones anyway. An officer may request to search your pockets during an investigation, but your cell phone will now remain safe until a search warrant is present.
You know, you're talking about bank account records, social media records, email records, anything and everything's on somebody's cell phone. And so because it's a search that goes beyond just what's on the person, it needs to require a warrant of some kind to access that information.
One Casper attorney says the new law will only impact future cases unless otherwise noted by the Supreme Court.
The court opinions generally don't apply retroactively unless the Supreme Court specifically says we want to apply this retroactively, which they didn't say in this case.
Lieutenant Thompson of Casper Police Department says cell phones have become more and more prominent in criminal cases and something needed to be done.
It was obvious there was going to be a means. We had to start examining what we wanted to do as far as getting that information for those criminal cases.
Thompson adds Casper officials started obtaining cell phone search warrants for criminal cases just a few years ago.
We went ahead and just started doing search warrants for any time we had cell phones that we deemed to be evidence in any criminal case investigations that we were doing.
Casper officials request search warrants on a regular basis too.
Oh, we do it routinely, regularly. It's being done because, like I said, in today's age of technology, people utilize their cell phone almost as a kind of a data bank about themselves.
Lieutenant Thompson says it's not uncommon for a criminal case to involve a cell phone as part of the collected evidence. Dean.
Thanks, Tony. Officials say they weren't surprised by the unanimous Supreme Court ruling. Casper fire officials are among the first in the country to have new breathing devices, making them even more prepared to tackle any fire. The breathing device is upgraded every 10 years, along with all safety equipment in the fire department. Some of the improvements include a redesigned device structure with easier access to connect another fire official's pack in case of an emergency. The air tanks have a capacity of 4,500 psi, allowing fire officials to breathe clean air in a dangerous situation for about 30 minutes, depending on the workload. Total cost for the 47 new devices was just under $300,000. A fire spokesman says the breathing device serves as a lifeline.
It provides us the chance to go into IDLH atmospheres, and IDLH, I mean, immediately dangerous to life and health. Structural fires, hazardous material situations, low oxygen levels.
Casper Fire personnel would like to sincerely thank local residents for making the purchase possible. Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes, and he joins us live from the Weather Center. And Joel, a busy day for you. I know a lot of thunderstorms going on throughout the state. What's the latest? What's going on?
Well, we have 5 severe thunderstorm warnings out, Dean. None for us here in Casper, but a big change in Casper within the last hour. The dew points doubled. The winds changed direction. That's due to that cold front passing by. I'll let you know that'll affect our weather tonight, as well as have the latest look at those severe thunderstorm warnings that's coming up next.